from some school, I think.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Simon Mugo from Kenya Medical Training College. We do appreciate we as the young people for the efforts that you have put in place to ensure that we, the young people, we get job employment once we complete our schools, and also from various skills that we are having. History has demonstrated that there is some kind of mistreatment which are happening to our own people, those who have gone abroad, and let's say, just to mention like the Arab countries. What are some of the measures that you have put in place to ensure that our people are safe outside there? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Alfred Mutua, I'm sure you are somewhere in this. Yes, can you answer Simon? Simon says, what is it that we are doing to make sure that, is it you or is it Rosalind? Maybe you can have a go first.
What exactly, I missed the question, Your Excellency.
The question was, there are some people who are mistreated working abroad. What is government doing?
One of the challenges that we've had for a long time is the ability of Kenyans who face problems being able to connect with the government to be able to assist them. We have ensured that Kenyans that go to different countries go to countries that have signed the International Labour Organization agreements. So they are adhered to international organizations agreements. However, we have found out that our embassies overseas have not been fully equipped to really sort out problems. For example, I remember in the case of one country that I went to, people say they couldn't access any help from the labor attaché or the ambassador. So we have set up systems, including phone numbers, and we're about to set up an app for people to be able to report when they are in problems. As I think diaspora will be able to also explain, is that we have also set up safe houses so that you can actually leave your employer and go to a safe zone, which will be translating, you will be assisted to come home. Your Excellency, I'd like to clarify at this juncture that we hear many stories of people saying they went to a country, they're not allowed to come home, they can't access medical care, and all those things. What usually happens is that when you go to a country to work, you go under a visa. Most of the time the visa is tied in to the employer who employs you. When you decide to move jobs and quit that job and you go work in the street or go work for somebody else who's giving you more money, your visa gets cancelled. You are out of status. That means some of these countries, your medical care is tied to the employer. You cannot seek medical treatment from a hospital. When you go to the hospital, they arrest you and they ship you back home. So Kenyans, some of them don't want to be shipped back home. So we are trying to encourage Kenyans that before you quit your job, please talk to our labor attachés. Let us go through the process of seeing how you need to move from one job to another job. Yes, Excellency.
Thank you. Rosalind, I think you have some information. Maybe you could just say something.
Right. Thank you, Excellency. And to add on to what Waziri Mutua has said, as the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, we've set up structures in the diaspora to ensure that Kenyans who work in the diaspora are protected. That is usually within our ministries, within our Kenya missions abroad, so the embassy or the High Commission, and we really insist that Kenyans who go to work abroad really register with us so that we know that they are there. When we've seen distress, Your Excellency, we've moved very quickly to deal with that. As we speak, we have just evacuated over 800 Kenyans from Lebanon, where the war broke out, and we've been able to bring back, and we're about to close phase 3 of that evacuation. So we stand ready to support Kenyans. Waziri has also discussed the need for Kenyans to travel to countries where we have migration agreements or labor agreements, and we have embarked on telling Kenyans about where these safe places are. So we still see certain challenges where often the people who have been mistreated is because they have been trafficked as opposed to having migrated for work. We've had challenges with certain countries. We've had challenges with Kenyans being trafficked under the guise of finding jobs in Thailand, but really they end up being trafficked to Myanmar and places around that region, including some that we intervened with just this week, Your Excellency, during this Jamhuri National Job Fair, where certain Kenyans were on their way to Thailand, but really they were going to be trafficked to Myanmar. So we are offering information around these, what are safe opportunities. And whenever there are questions about, does this job really exist? Our ministry and the State Department for Diaspora Affairs can very quickly verify for you whether that job that you're seeing going around on WhatsApp is actually a legit job, or you're about to find yourself in a very difficult place.
Thank you, Rosalind. I think for those of you who wanted to ask that question, it is the reason why we are now signing bilateral labor agreements, so that we have an instrument to make sure that we can protect Kenyans wherever they are working. It is important, before you go to any destination, to know whether there is a bilateral labor agreement between that country and Kenya, because that is the framework where we can support you much more easily. The reason why I set up the State Department of Diaspora is exactly so that Rosalind can do what her and her team are doing, to support Kenyans in those spaces, to be able to validate some of the information you get in the internet. Make sure that you go under an arrangement where the government of Kenya knows, so that when you get into trouble, we can be able to assist you. Somebody had a yes?
Good evening. Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Stacy Lumadi. I graduated in the
Give her a working mic, please. Sorry.
My name is Stacy Lumadi. I graduated in the year 2022, and since then I've not been employed. I understand the meaning of tarmacking. Currently pursuing Masters of Development in the University of Nairobi. And my question is on Kazi ya Maju. It's a good initiative, especially when you're looking at remittance impact on the economy. But there is a high processing fee for jobs, be it Qatar, be it Europe. Are there plans to initiate costs for those getting jobs, even if it's providing loans?
Thank you very much, Ms. Lumadi. Alfred, you are the owner of that space.
That's a very good question. You see, the whole essence of jobs overseas are for you to be able to live here and go get a good job. Now, there are two kinds of jobs. There are two kinds of offers, mostly. There are companies that say, we want nurses, for example, or we want teachers, or we want riders, or we want ICT specialists. And we will pay for the preparation of those candidates to come to our country. We will pay their medical fee, we will pay their air transport, we will pay money for them to do the necessary tests they need to do at the station and all that. And they pay for everything, and the agency that gets a job will probably charge you maybe 10 or 20,000 for their processing fee, or will actually be paid by those companies a service fee, so they don't have to charge you anything. And those are now 100% what quote unquote free. Those are fine in between. Then there are others who say, for example, in Australia, who say they want nurses. They can take our nurses from medical training college who have diplomas, because they're not allowed to work as nurses in hospitals. They can work in nurses at aged care, making approximately 500,000 shillings a month. But before they go, they have to do certain exams that the Australian government wants them to do. And if you add up the exams, including English test, it comes to over 100,000 shillings. Then they have to pay their ticket to Australia, about $1,500. And then they have to pay etc. So you find that if you want to go to Australia, the Australians say, we want you here, but we're not going to pay for you to get here. You get here, we'll give you the job. And they give you the job before you get there. So when you get there, but then now you have to come up with 250,000 shillings. So you don't have to go, but if you choose to go, then you realize how much you have to pay. Now what we have done is that I have had meetings with financial institutions, and I've asked them, can you provide a facility to our young people who don't have money to go overseas, and they pay these fees for their ticket, etc., etc. And they said yes, but we need surety. I said, I'll write you a letter. They say no, because what has happened in the past is that a Kenyan will get a loan. As soon as they get inside the plane, they block the person who gave them the money, and they don't pay back. So they have had that history. So I have told them, you can't ask for a title deed for somebody who lives in a slum, or who lives in towns where the fathers don't have, the mother, the parents don't have a farm or something, or they don't have a car. So we have agreed that they can come to your house and they can look at what you have, what your mother or father has. Uko na TV moja, uko na couch moja, and then they can cost it, and they say we are going to give you a loan on this as a guarantor. So that now if you don't pay the loan, they take your mother's bed. So that will actually will help you actually process the loan. So we are trying many ways, and as the president has said, with the BLAs, we are pushing for companies that can actually pay for some of the costs, especially the cost of air transport, which are usually very high.
Thank you. I think we have something else. Can PS SME say something? I think we have another ecosystem over here.
Thank you, Your Excellency. In our ecosystem of MSME, we have Youth Enterprise Fund. And the Youth Enterprise Fund have a migration loan, labor migration loan. And the figures I have, they have processed so far 78 million and supported 354 young people. So this is available, but we are trying to see how do we even expand that ecosystem. Also urging our other agencies like Uwezo Fund. So our other agencies like Uwezo Fund also to introduce that financial product so that we get to support you, to facilitate you, also to leave something behind to your family, because that is always a challenge. Thank you.
Yes. So as you have heard, it comes all the way from jobs that everything is paid for, including air tickets, to a situation where nothing is paid for. And there are all manner of in-betweens. But the CEO of the Youth Fund, Mr. Yes, you remember I had a conversation with you, and he can confirm that he has a financial product. Can you confirm to Lumadi, yes, that indeed under our youth fund there is a product that they can tap into?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Yes, indeed, I confirm that in the youth fund we have a migration loan. The limit for that is 300,000 Kenyan shillings, and so far the statistics are as read by the PS. Yes, I confirm, Your Excellency.
So those of you who are looking for an opportunity, there is an opportunity funded by the government of Kenya, and if there are limitations, I am ready to enhance the budget to them so that we can get more. When he mentioned it to me, I told him that that is a good product, and we agreed that if they get to the limit, we can extend their limit. Okay? All right. Maybe